is also with us. PK Mishra ji, 694 mosques, madrasas, etc. being built on no man's land, on property which they should not be given access to. This is a serious problem.
Yes, I have gone to these areas. I had been to these areas just before 6 months. And I can tell you the felt reality. As it was the entry of Bangladeshis through Indo-Bangladesh border in Murshidabad, Nadia, North 24 Parganas, Malda, Farakka, all those areas. This is also migrants are coming from Nepal, and these are the Bangladeshis and Rohingyas who are not permitted through Indo-Bangladesh border. The people are taking them, the agents are taking them from Bangladesh, because we have a lot of Rohingya camps in Bangladesh, and they are coming via Nepal, and very easily they are entering into India. It's like in Dhubri, in River Brahmaputra, we have islands. When the islands, they come up after monsoon, right. Bangladeshis, they come and they inhabit in those areas and they quietly come to Dhubri. Similar thing is happening here through agents. They are coming, and what I have seen, it's not 720 kilometers area, it is in the length. You see, they are up to 2 kilometers inside India, and their population, they have gone up like anything, like Dhubri. I found a lot of new madrasas and masjids, mosques have come up. And the only, I can well tell that it's not that the SSB or the IB or even the Bihar police or the Bihar IB, Bihar SIB, they didn't know. All the security agencies, they knew about this. Particularly, they have all kept quiet. The government of Bihar has kept quiet. It's all vote bank politics, like Bangladesh Muslims, they came to India, they are in Bangladesh, they are in Calcutta, and they are vote banks of our Lady Chief Minister. I'm sorry to tell. So these are all vote bank politics for our politicians.
No, but
what should have been done? These are all areas which don't belong to them.
Correct.
And even if now they have come also, they have to be rounded up who are there in government land and no man's land, and they have to be taken to various camps like we have made earlier.
But here it is. Do you understand how big a challenge it will be now? Because now you're yourself saying that nearly 2,000 square kilometers of the area of no man's land has been occupied. How are you going to round them up? Because they're in lakhs now. Arunima had a point to make, sir. So please wait. Yes, Arunima, you're putting your hand up.
Yes, I was just trying to add to the information that we have already put out for our viewers, talking about how difficult it is for the agencies to weed out. You know, outside the Air Force station in Madhya Pradesh, there were 8 or 9 JMB people who were arrested. And how was this lid blown off out of this Aadhaar family tree drama that is going on? All of those who were arrested showed their date of birth as 1st of January of that particular year, and all of them showed that they were born in Araria in Bihar. So clearly en masse date of birth was being filled, en masse place of birth was being filled. That really blew the lid off. And the second thing that the agencies are pointing out too is that at this stage, there is a lot of argument about whether these are only the madrasas that are coming up, these are only because there are Muslims there. So for their prayer needs, for their education needs, local population which is there is given 5 rupees, 10 rupees to construct these mosques. But that is not what the agencies are pointing out. They have reasons to believe that this money is coming from abroad, as far as from Turkey, not just from Middle East. The money for construction of these madrasas and these mosques are coming from Turkey, coming from Middle Eastern countries, coming from Saudi Arabia as well.
Yeah, Qatar and Turkey are the chief perpetrators, and this is a similar trend, Anusha, that we saw even in Jammu and Kashmir. So this happened between, say, 2004, 2005 till about 2015, 2016. More than 900 to 1100 mosque madrasas came over across Jammu and Kashmir, but none of them were by local local people. It was not local. Most of the muezzins and most of the people who are there inside these mosques had come from eastern parts of our country, that is Bihar. And their antecedents were again questionable, because they seem to have not been Indian citizens. They seem to have come from Bangladesh or from this region.
This is an SOP that has been going on in different parts of the country.
And that's why the numbers also show. I'm just going to quickly look at these numbers before we go back and bring in our Captain Alok Bansal also. The demographic shift, the numbers spell it out. the Hindu population growth. Now have a look at this. Hindu population growth in Supal 215.7%, Araria 215.57%, Kishanganj 217.03%. But the Muslim population growth is unprecedented, 365.23%, 341.81% and 295.36%. This is the government census data 1971 to 2011. So we're looking at the last 40 years, 71 to 2011. This is the growth. Again, in Purnia, 207%, this is 331%. Katihar 180% and 342%. Madhepura 200% and Muslims is 314.66%. But overall, between 1971 to 2011, Captain Alok Bansal, if our TFR is coming down, even Indian Muslims, the overall TFR is coming down in these regions, just like we heard the census researcher also say that it is clearly non-Indians who are settling in this region and altering the demographics.
See, there is no doubt that there is a concerted effort being made by anti-India forces to bring in these people into this region, and not only in this particular region, even in the Tarai belt of Nepal. A concerted campaign has been launched to settle Muslims from different parts of the world, especially from Rohingyas and Bangladeshis. And this belt is then used for infiltrating into India. Most of the spies, most of the saboteurs who are coming into India are actually coming through Nepal. And here I'd also like to point a finger at some of the law enforcement agencies which have been hand in gloves, because for a person to get a fake Aadhaar, to get a fake ID, some of the law enforcement agencies are actually selling their souls just for a few bucks. And also the border guarding forces. We have had a proliferation of forces. In fact, we have gone about creating new forces for guarding different borders. But Nepal and Bhutan border continue to be porous, and this porous border is being utilized. If we have installed a force just to guard a Nepalese border, then they must ensure that these illegals do not come. In fact, even those people coming from Nepal need to show their valid identity card. If they are not Nepalese citizens, then how are they able to come through this particular border? All these factors need to be taken into account, and I think these border guarding agencies need to strengthen their network. In fact, be more proactive to prevent, because as of now, they are hardly doing any job as far as Nepalese border is concerned.
All right.